I'll start with you, and then I can always open it up to the whole panel on this one. But what do you have for me? What do you got? Let's just jump right in.
Why do you have big labia matter if you don't go down?
Yes, of course.
Ooh.
Well, I don't see, so first off, I don't really follow the logic. So you can desire or have a preference on that front without needing to or wanting to do oral sex. So do you have a different argument you want to make, or?
Just then why big labia matter then?
Well, it just doesn't, the logic doesn't follow. For example, a woman might have a preference for a certain penis size, but she might not enjoy oral sex. The two aren't really connected.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But yes, to answer your question, look, I care. It's interesting because for me, at least when it comes to sex, my goal is to make her come first, if possible, multiple times. But there's different ways to go about that, and just for me personally, I have a sexual boundary. It's interesting that typically when men have sexual boundaries, they tend to be kind of ignored. But just in the way that women have sexual boundaries, men are allowed to have sexual boundaries. That happens to be one of my sexual boundaries. If that's a deal breaker for a woman, so be it, although most of the women I've dated and encountered, including my various long-term relationships, has not really been a problem at all. So
how has that sexual boundary been ignored then?
What do you mean?
You said usually men's sexual boundaries are ignored if it's been respected.
Well, I'm not speaking on a individual level, but like when I bring it up in conversation here, and I don't really take an issue with it, but people are like, they'll try to kind of almost make fun of you or pressure you for a boundary that you have, where I think if a woman had a similar sort of boundary and if it was pushed to the same degree, it would be looked at in a much different way. For example, if she didn't want to give head, or she didn't want to have anal sex, for example, and she was mocked for it, people might object to that more so than the man being mocked for his sexual boundary.
That would probably also really turn her off to wanting to have sexual encounters with you if you're not respecting her boundaries. But can I ask you something? Mm-hmm. The BLM thing that you have going on, is that some sort of backlash at just like a lot of women who are like what they call size queens, like who, prefer certain pee-pee sizes? Is this your way of like kind of having a backlash at that, or is that your genuine opinion that you've just monetized?
Well, I don't really monetize it at all. Probably loses me money in some
Do you want to
monetize
way. It?
I don't monetize. I say it's a nonprofit, but we don't take, there's no donation link. We don't take donations or anything. It's more, I say it's nonprofit as a joke. Okay. It's not an actual organization, but in terms of my advocacy, well, for one, it's actually interestingly kind of a feminist talking point, this one, because, you'll hear, well, throughout, if you look at like depictions in pornography, these women with their perfect pussy lips, and it's not representative of all the different shapes and sizes that women can have down there, and women are meant to feel insecure about it. And then there's also the whole fake news about if a woman's promiscuous, that means that's the cause of having. No, that's ridiculous. A woman could be a virgin and have an Audi, but it's sort of, I guess, to your point, it could double as a sort of like knock to women with their preferences, I guess. Mm-hmm. Although it would be the corresponding thing would be, because you're comparing it to size queens, I think the corresponding thing here is, if I said I only date women with innies, I think that would correspond better to women who say I only date men with big penises. Mm-hmm. That tends to be the preference, and I would say the mainstream preference tends to be men preferring innies. Mm-hmm. And so actually, women get shamed if they have an Audi.
Mm-hmm. So it's not like you only want to be with
they'll get made fun of. Beef curtains, Arby's, wizard sleeve.
What?
You've never heard? Yeah, guys and women make fun of it. Guys make fun of it.
Twitter more.
It's inappropriate.
Never heard of
Inappropriate. I
beef
don't think we should be.
curtains,
I don't think we should be shaming men or women for something that's one entirely out of their control and something that's
Right.
a bit more. People can be sensitive about that and get insecurities and yeah. So as far as my actual dating preference.
I was just wondering where this came from because it's like
I only
very.
date women without it. No, I'm kidding.
I've never heard of that.
I date women with innies, but
Okay.
I do have a preference for outies.
Okay.
She's like, what the fuck?
What?
We do have virgins present, okay?
Who here's a virgin? Show of hands. Q. Nick's a virgin.
Just ask the question
that-
like, what's
does
your favorite
that,
color? So casual.
I don't know if that adequately answers your question, but
I think it does. Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to know if it's like really a genuine thing that you're into.
Oh, you think like I'm fake? Like I'm
Like,
not into
I don't know.
outies?
Like it's.
Like I'm
It's
make-
very niche. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
I've never
people-
heard of somebody like, oh yeah, I really love big labia.
Huge fan.
Okay.
Or that
It's
I
legit.
definitely,
It's
definitely
legit.
huge fan. I definitely heard of like guys who are like, oh yeah, like I only like girls with innies because
Yeah, I've
it just
heard
looks
that.
kind of more like innocent, I guess.
Looks innocent. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Because
I
like
haven't heard
the
that.
other, the opposite would be like,
The bigger the better.
Yeah, sure.
Any outies at the table? Anybody down to admit? Would anybody admit that if they do have an outie?
Don't know that
I
I've
feel like
examined
some girls don't
myself
even know.
that thoroughly.
Some girls don't even know.
Why'd you look at me as you took your sip of water?
Because I was talking to you.
Okay.
For all female viewers, you should probably take a mirror and give yourself a good look down there and get acquainted with what's going on, because when things are not going to plan, you should be able to know that too about yourself and be able to get appropriate help. Yep.
Beautiful. It's
Safe
beautiful.
sex matters.
The more you know.
The more you know.
But here's the crazy thing. In the United States, 10,000 women a year get a labiaplasty. 10,000.
That's wild.
That's a tragedy. And through the advocacy,
That's what God gave
if
you.
if I can convince one woman to not get a labiaplasty, I have done a good deed. It's a good deed.
Can I help with that?
Sure.
If you get labiaplasty, you're less likely to feel sensations on your
Facts.
lips. So, yeah, if you're considering it, you probably might not be able to get off as easily. So, keep that in
Yeah.
mind, ladies.
And you can get infections. You can botch it. Shit, the fucking surgeon might be drunk. Fucking take the clit along with it on accident. It happened. Happens, probably. Look, end of the day, if I can prevent one labiaplasty, just know there's men out there, including myself, who like and prefer outies. Okay.
Grid 1 Motorsports